Consumer Price Index, June 2023. Transmission of material in this release is embargoed until 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, July 12, 2023. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, rose 0.2% in June on a seasonally adjusted basis, after increasing 0.1% in May, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, the All Items Index increased 3.0% before seasonal adjustment. The index for shelter was the largest contributor to the monthly All Items increase, accounting for over 70% of the increase, with the index for motor vehicle insurance also contributing. The food index increased 0.1% in June after increasing 0.2% the previous month. The index for food at home was unchanged over the month, while the index for food away from home rose 0.4% in June. The energy index rose 0.6% in June as the major energy component indexes were mixed. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% in June, the smallest one-month increase in that index since August 2021. Indexes which increased in June include shelter, motor vehicle insurance, apparel, recreation, and personal care. The indexes for airline fares, communication, used cars and trucks, and household furnishings and operations were among those that decreased over the month. The All Items Index increased 3.0% for the 12 months ending June. This was the smallest 12-month increase since the period ending March 2021. The All Items Less Food and Energy Index rose 4.8% over the last 12 months. The Energy Index decreased 16.7% for the 12 months ending June, and the Food Index increased 5.7% over the last year. Food. The Food Index rose 0.1% in June. The Food at Home Index was unchanged over the month, following a 0.1% increase in May. 2 of the 6 major grocery store food group indexes increased over the month. The index for fruits and vegetables increased 0.8% in June, following a 1.3% increase in May. The Cereals and Bakery Products Index rose 0.1% over the month. The index for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs decreased 0.4% in June, as the index for eggs fell 7.3% over the month after falling sharply in May. The Other Food at Home Index decreased 0.2% in June after increasing 0.4% the previous month. The index for dairy and related products fell 0.3% over the month, and the index for non-alcoholic beverages declined 0.1% in June. The Food Away from Home Index rose 0.4% in June. The index for full-service meals increased 0.3% over the month, and the index for limited service meals increased 0.4%. The Food at Home Index rose 4.7% over the last 12 months. The index for cereals and bakery products rose 8.8% over the 12 months ending in June. The Meats, Poultry, Fish, and Eggs Index declined 0.2% over the year. The remaining major grocery store food groups posted increases ranging from 2.7%, dairy and related products, to 7.6%, non-alcoholic beverages. The index for food away from home rose 7.7% over the last year. The index for full-service meals rose 6.2% over the last 12 months, and the index for limited service meals rose 7.8% over the same period. Energy. The Energy Index rose 0.6% in June after falling 3.6% in May. The Gasoline Index increased 1.0% in June, following a 5.6% decrease in the previous month. Before seasonal adjustment, gasoline prices rose 0.7% in June. Other energy components were mixed. The index for electricity increased 0.9% in June, after falling in each of the preceding 3 months. The Natural Gas Index decreased 1.7% over the month, the 5th consecutive decrease in that index. The index for fuel oil also declined in June, falling 0.4%. The Energy Index fell 16.7% over the past 12 months. The Gasoline Index decreased 26.5% over the last 12 months, while the Natural Gas Index fell 18.6%, and the fuel oil index fell 36.6% over the span. In contrast, the index for electricity rose 5.4% over the last year. All items less food and energy. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% in June. The shelter index increased 0.4% over the month after rising 0.6% in May. The index for rent rose 0.5% in June, and the index for owner's equivalent rent increased 0.4% over the month. The index for lodging away from home decreased 2.0% in June after increasing 1.8% in May. The shelter index was the largest factor in the monthly increase in the index for all items less food and energy. Among the other indexes that rose in June was the index for motor vehicle insurance, which increased 1.7%, and the index for apparel, which increased 0.3%. The indexes for recreation and personal care also increased in June. Several indexes declined in June, led by the airline fares index, which fell 8.1% over the month following declines in April and May. The index for communication fell 0.5% over the month. The household furnishings and operations index fell 0.1% over the month, after declining 0.6% in May. The index for new vehicles was unchanged in June. The medical care index was unchanged in June, after increasing 0.1% the previous month. The index for physician services rose 0.7% over the month, while the index for hospital services increased 0.4%. The prescription drugs index was unchanged in June. The index for all items less food and energy rose 4.8% over the past 12 months. The shelter index increased 7.8% over the last year, accounting for over 2/3 of the total increase in all items less food and energy. Other indexes with notable increases over the last year include motor vehicle insurance, plus 16.9%, recreation, plus 4.3%, household furnishings and operations, plus 3.6%, and new vehicles, plus 4.1%. Not seasonally adjusted CPI measures. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 3.0% over the last 12 months to an index level of 305.109, 1982-84 equals 100. For the month, the index increased 0.3% prior to seasonal adjustment. The Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPI-W, increased 2.3% over the last 12 months to an index level of 299.394, 1982-84 equals 100. For the month, the index increased 0.3% prior to seasonal adjustment. The Chained Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 3.4% over the last 12 months. For the month, the index increased 0.3% on a not seasonally adjusted basis. Please note that the indexes for the past 10 to 12 months are subject to revision. The Consumer Price Index for July 2023 is scheduled to be released on Thursday, August 10, 2023, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.